Our next speaker is Reverend Julian Deshazier. We are so honored that you are here. We're so honored that you say yes. And I throw it to you now, sir, to offer your reflections.
Wow, thank you so much. A couple of words from Dr. King. Let us be dissatisfied until the empty stomachs of Mississippi and the idle industries of Appalachia are revitalized. Let us be dissatisfied until brotherhood is no longer a meaningless word at the end of a prayer, but the first order of business on every legislative agenda. Let us be dissatisfied until our brother of the third world, Asia, Africa, and Latin America, will no longer be the victim of imperialist exploitation, but will be lifted from the long night of poverty, illiteracy, and disease. Let us be dissatisfied. My grandmother came from the South, same as her sister, because back in Gulfport, her first name was nigger. Middle name was girl, so they needed something better. So they got on a bus and went north to this weather. So either they wanted bad or they had nothing left. That's how life went when our grandmothers were Black migrants. Now, when I say migrant, you think of somebody else, but every group in Chicago moved from somewhere else. These buses been coming. The people just look different. And since they don't speak English, we got something against them. But these are all children of God. Imagine me, a Black man, yelling out, "Not in my backyard." I appreciate the irony and understand the history, but King challenged us into something more inspiring. These words, spoken at a party for Du Bois's 100th birthday, subtle, but they make a lot of noise. Did you hear when he mentioned the Black, the Appalachia, and then he went to Asia, Africa, Latin America? That might seem old hat to you, but back then you ain't do that. Back then, Black issues were Black. And if you wasn't talking about Black, you was a traitor. So imagine how they talked about King pointing at Asia, making room for the strangers, sharing struggle and anger with people who might not look like me, but that's my neighbor. My grandmother, voice out of heaven, said, help them because they face the same danger. So King was dissatisfied with empire, and he would sometimes push back against his own people. He did this with clergy in his letter from a Birmingham jail, and he did it at this celebration for Du Bois's 100th birthday, his last major public speaking event, February 1968, last time he was in New York. And what is phenomenal is what he is responding to. He knows that Du Bois lived and died for the advancement of Black people, not all people. He knows that Du Bois didn't want to talk about Black issues alongside the issues of foreign people. He knows how Du Bois felt about immigration, same as A. Philip Randolph, same as Marcus Garvey, same as Frederick Douglass, same as Booker T. Washington. In fact, that's just about the only thing they agreed on, that they're worried about immigrants. And this isn't Black leaders being racist. They are talking about European immigrants at this point in history. They are noticing how immigration policy was a product of racism created to create a permanent underclass. So they were trying to protect themselves, just as some in our city who are leaders are looking out for our people. I get that. But in celebrating King's life, let us hear his challenge to include in our struggle the struggle of Latin America and Africa and Asia. They are migrating to our city, and I believe King would have been dissatisfied with our city's response. I believe that there's a way for us to work together to stop fighting over scraps and to help the city, the state, the federal government hear the full voice of all of Chicago's migrants. Because those here already know that this is unacceptable. Let us be dissatisfied with the notion that we each need to figure it out on our own. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will, in fact, be dissatisfied. What a powerful call to expand the terrain of our struggle, the terrain of our advocacy. And we say yes, yes, yes. Thank you.